Assalamu alaikum, my dear students of class 9. Today I am going to discuss chapter 15, variables and constant in C. As already I discussed about C, introduction to C in chapter 14. So today I will be discussing about the variables and the constant, which is one of the most important part of a C program. So first, what is character set? Now in a keyboard we will be seeing there is, in a normal keyboard, computer keyboard, you will be seeing there is alphabets are there, numbers are there, and other special symbols are there. So this all forms the character set. The keyboard characters which can be used in writing a C program include alphabets, digits and special symbols. As you can see in your book, page number 278 is there. Alphabets from capital letter A to capital letter Z, small letter A to small letter Z, digits 0 to 9, special characters like underscore, hash, dollar sign. So these all are known as character set. Next, tokens. So what is token? The meaningful combination of the characters of C characters are known as token, C token. Now, as I have discussed character set, so if you combine some character set and which should be meaningful, so meaningful combination of C character set is known as C token. In other words, I can say the token is the smallest individual unit in a C program. In a C program, we will find many things that I will be discussing, like keywords, identifiers. So each and every meaningful character set are known as tokens. It is a word in the English language. The tokens are the word in English language. So basically there C has 6 type of tokens: keywords, identifier, identifiers, constant, then we have strings, then we have special symbols, and last we have operators. So these 6 are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the C tokens. So I shall start now the discussion on what do you mean by keyword. Keyword means reserved word. Every token in a C is classified either as keyword or as an identifier. Now whatever token is there in a C program, it can be either a reserved word, means keyword, or identifier. Keywords are the reserved word that have predefined meaning in the language and the compiler. Now see one thing, in my last class I have shown you what? I have shown you a function like printf. Now the printf has a predefined meaning in case of C compiler, in C language. Whenever the compiler sees the keyword printf, the compiler understands that the compiler should display output. So the printf has a predefined meaning in a C language. So this is a keyword. So normally C has 32 keywords. As you can see in your book, page number 279, table 15.2, C keywords are there. So there are 32 reserved words, means keywords, which are supported by C programming language. Now next is identifier. What is identifier? Identifier means a thing, a token a token which can uniquely identify a value. So this identifier, identifiers are C tokens defined by a program. Normally the identifiers, now see, the keywords are not defined by the user. Keywords inbuilt, already inbuilt keywords are there, 32 keywords are there, but identifiers are defined by a programmer, by a user. Identifiers are C tokens defined by a programmer in a program, which may refer to the name of a variable, function or arrays. Now there are some rules for creating identifier. This is very important point. We must understand this, the rules. Otherwise we cannot be able to create an identifier, means we cannot be able to create a variable or a function. Number one, the rule for naming identifier. Number one, the identifier name is a sequence of one or more characters. It can have a one or more letters like small a to small z or capital A to capital Z, or digits 0 to 9, or any special symbol. Only one special symbol allowed, it is underscore sign. So in naming identifier, only one special symbol is supported, which is underscore. Spaces, punctuation marks or symbols cannot be used as identifier. We cannot use a space as identifier. While naming identifier, we should not give a space in between the name. Number two, the name should begin with a letter. Identifier name should begin with a letter. They can also begin with a underscore sign. Next, characters other than the first can be letter, underscore or digit. Now the first character in naming identifier, the first character should be a letter or underscore, so you can see. And beside this, we can have a letter, number, digits, anything. For example, I am showing, suppose I want to name and identify, suppose say number, so it is valid. Number one, it is also valid because first one is a letter followed by letter, numbers, valid. But if I give it like this, one number, it is invalid because it should not begin with a digit. It can begin with a letter or underscore sign. Number four, uppercase and lowercase are distinct. Now capital letter and small letter are distinct. Suppose if I name a identifier like this, number, and after that in the program I am mentioning the same thing like this, NUM, BR, then to the computer these two will not be same. The computer will think these two as the different. So for this reason, lowercase and uppercase means capital letter and small letter are distinct. Identifier, this is very important. The identifier name cannot be the name of a keyword. Now in your book, in page, table number 15.2, we will find 32 keywords are given. Now you cannot have, suppose I am telling a name is there, suppose say auto, AUTO, auto. Auto is the reserved word in C, it is a keyword. Now if you want to name this auto as the identifier, the computer will show you error. I am telling the reason why. Number one, auto is a reserved word. Number two, to the compiler there is a reserved meaning of auto is there. So we cannot use the keyword name as the identifier. So this rule you must understand, the 5 rules for naming identifier. And also one thing, the uppercase and lowercase, as I told you, number, suppose say if I write a variable identifier like this in small letter x. Now if I want to define this one in later on, if I give capital letter X, it will show error because to the computer these two are different. Next, constant. From the name you can understand constant means what? Fixed. Constant refers to the fixed value that does not change during the execution of a program. So constant refers to the fixed value that should not or that does not change when the program executes. The other name of constant is literals. Constant also known as literals. Constant can be numeric, constant can be character, any type. Now what do you mean by integer constant? Integer constant means what? All the constants that have integer number are known as integer constant. They should not have a decimal point. So there is a rule for naming integer constants. Integer constant consists of digits 0 to 9, number 1. Number 2, integer constant must not have a decimal point, because integer is there, we cannot have a decimal point. It should not include commas and blank spaces. We cannot use comma and blank spaces in integer constant. It can be preceded by plus or minus sign. In case of positive, plus, suppose say if I say 2, 3, 2, 3 is a integer constant. Now we can, by seeing 2, 3, we can understand that 2, 3 is a means plus 2, 3. So giving positive plus 2, 3 is not mandatory. But if it is a negative number, we must give minus sign. Why? So that it understands this is a negative. So minus is mandatory. In case of negative, we must give minus. Now integer constant are of 3 types. They are decimal, octal and hexadecimal. Decimal numbers are any numbers, like say 23 is a decimal number, minus 23 is a decimal number. In case of octal number, a octal number is always preceded by a 0. A octal number is always preceded by a 0, and the hexadecimal number is preceded by 0x. 0x. Say this is a hexadecimal number. The base of decimal is 10, the base of octal is 8, and the base of hexadecimal is 16. Then real constant, I have discussed about integer constant. Now come to real constant. The other name of real constant is also floating constant. Now numbers that have decimal point are known as real constant. So that means what? Real constant numbers must have a decimal point. So there is a rule that apply to real constant. Number 1, it is common between integer and real constant that it consists a number between 0 to 9. Number 2, it should not include comma or blank spaces. Number 3, it must have a decimal point. And number 4, it can be preceded by a plus or a minus, say 23.2. So this is not an integer, this is a real constant, or you can say floating constant. And because decimal point is there, now say 24.0, it is also a decimal point. If I write 24 point, this is also a floating. 20.0 is also a floating, means real constant, and 24 point is also a real constant. Now next, what do you mean by single character constant? Single character constant means consists of a single character. That single character can be a letter, can be a number, or can be a special character. But one thing is that single character should be enclosed within quotes, pair of quotes. A character constant represents a single alphabet, single digit, or a single special number enclosed in a pair of single quotes. For example, say A, this is a character constant. Suppose a number say 3, this is a character constant. Suppose say $sign. This is also a character constant. So character constant can have a letter, number or special symbol, but it should be enclosed within single quotes. Then we have escape sequence. So escape sequence are basically, there are some non-graphical characters preceded by a backslash, backslash sign. So these are known as escape sequence. I am again telling, there are special non-graphical characters which are preceded by a backslash line. They are known as escape sequence. Some escape sequence are, one is like this, /n. /n means what? New line. /t means tab. /0 means null. Now see, but you can say, as I told you, it is only one character, but two characters is there. Basically what happened, when I give the backslash and then I give any symbol, so it represents, everything is represented as a single character. Although they consist of two characters, they represent a single character constant. /n means new line, /t tab, /0 null character. Now coming next, what is string constant? What is string constant? A string constant is a sequence of one or more characters which are enclosed in a pair of double quotes. In case of character constant, it was single quote. In case of string constant, it is double quotes. So it can be a single, but you can see one thing. In case of single constant, only single character was there, letter was there. But in case of string constant, we can have more than one character. Say for example, Al-Hira. So I give the double comma. So this is a string constant because more than one character is there and it is enclosed within double quotes. Now in your book in page number 281, you find like this, X and X is there. What is the difference? This X is an identifier, it means a variable. This is a character constant because it contains single character enclosed in single quotes. This is a string constant which is enclosed in double quotes. Now, how can you define constant? So basically, a constant can be defined using two keywords. One is hash define, another is by using const keyword. One by using hash define, another by using const, const, const keyword. So these are the two ways by which we can define a constant. Now what is constant? As I told you earlier, constant are the data values that doesn't change their value during the execution of the program. So we can make a thing constant by using the hash define or by using const keyword. Now for example, see in when we want to find the area of a circle, in finding out the area of a circle, the value of pi is fixed, which is 22/7, or if I go to real constant, it is 3.1413. Now if I develop the hash define, suppose pi means pi 3.1413, if I define like this, then what will happen? In the entire program, whenever I use pi, so it will give the value 3.1413 because I have defined the hash define constant. Another way is there, const pi is equal to 3.1413. If you use like this also, if you declare it like this also, what will happen? Suppose say it is const, let me give float, const float pi is equal to 3.1413. So what will happen in this entire program, the value of the pi will be constant. So these are the two ways for defining a constant. Now what is variable? What is variable? Remember, a variable is one of the most important part of a C program. Variable. Now from the name you can say that the thing which changes its value is known as variable. Say for example, in your class you are all students sitting, say I have randomly asking that, suppose you tell me, you give me a value of x. Suppose I told this one x is there, give me a value of x. Now I told another one, give me a value of x. Now another, give me a value of x. Now whether all, when you give the value of x, whether it will be same or different, it will be different, because x I am representing something, a number with a identifier. So this is a variable. Say one in your book you will find one question is there, that suppose you are asked to perform the following operation C, store 10 and 5 in computer memory. Now what is the use of variable? Actually variable stores a value in the computer memory, and a variable is a named, it is a named portion of the memory used to store a value. Basically it is a named portion of the memory used to store a value. A variable is a identifier. Store 10 and 5 in computer memory. So I can store like this, x is equal to 10, y is equal to 5. Then add 3 to the first number, add 3 to the first number. So this one, so I will write x is equal to x plus 3. So it will become what? 10 plus 3, 13. Then subtract the second number, subtract the second number 5 from the first one. So we have to subtract 5 from the first one. That means what? 10 minus 5. So it will be like this, y is equal to subtract the second number y from the first one. So x minus y, x minus y. So it will be, I will write say like this, say z. So z is equal to x minus y. So this x, y, z all are variable. Because why? It is representing a portion of the computer memory for storing a value. Now what is data type? Now whenever we represent any identifier variable in a computer, we must have to declare which type, the type of that identifier, the variable, whether it should be integer, whether it should be floating, whether it should be character, whether it should be string. Understand? So this the data type. So what should be the type of the data? So variables are declared in a program by a programmer, created in the object code by the compiler, and created in the memory by the load at the runtime. So what happened? The size of integer and the size of float, which is real number, are not real constant, are not same. Now float, integer data type, they take 2 bytes of data, whereas the float, they can represent a value with 4 bytes. So difference is there. So we have to mention while declaring a variable, we must mention the data type. Also, what should be the output, whether it should be integer, floating, character. So we must define it beforehand. So basically the data types are of 2 types, 3 types. One is user defined data type, another is primary data type, another is derived data type. Now primary data types are what? Integer, floating, void, character, these all are primary data type. User defined data type are structure, union, which is not there in your course, and the derived data type are array, references, pointer. This is also not there in your course. Now, what is data type modifiers? Data type modifiers means how can you modify a data. Now, for example, say int, you can see in page number 284, a chart is there of the fundamental data types is there. You can see the car data type, they take 1 byte of computer memory, whereas int they take 2 byte, float 4 byte, double 8 byte, like this go on. So the integer data type can either be short, int or long. Short integer can be represented by int, short or long. So these are the data type modifiers. Now sometimes we represent by another two values, signed and unsigned. Signed data types can store both positive and negative value. Signed can, because name is what, signed, so it can represent both positive and negative values, whereas the unsigned data type can store only positive values. Then how can you declare next? How can you declare a variable? So for declaring a variable, first suppose say int x. It means what? X is a variable or identifier of data type int. The general syntax is data type variable name, data type variable name. So see here, x, I will tell you what? Int x. X is a variable of data type int. This means what? For this variable x, 2 bytes of data will be stored in computer memory. Now if I write like this, float x, this means what? The value which will be represented by x will be a floating, a real number. This one, the value which will be represented by x will be a integer number. This will take 2 byte of data, this will take 4 byte of data. So like this is the way how can you declare a variable. Now say if there is more than one variable of same data type, so you can represent it like this, say int x, y, z. So this is also valid because we can in a variable declaration we can have more than one variable. So this is known as variable declaration. Now what is initialization of variable or variable initialization? Variable initialization means what? When I declare a variable and at the same time if I give a value, initial value to the variable, this is known as variable initialization. For example, int x is equal to 2. See here, this part I have declared the variable and this part I have initialized it. I have given initial value to the variable. So this is known as variable initialization. Now data type conversion. So basically we can convert a type into two types. One is implicit and another is explicit. Now what do we mean by implicit and explicit conversion? Now say a is equal to 6 plus 5.6. Now here 6 is an integer, 5.6 is a real constant, or you can say floating number. Integer plus floating. Now what should be the result? The result should be integer or it should be floating. So actually rule is there. Actually implicit conversion means what? C perform the necessary conversion automatically whenever there is a mixed data types, and this type of conversion is known as implicit or automatic conversion. And rule is what? When we combine two types data types. So what should be the result? Actually, rule says that the compiler converts one of them to another to match the other using the rule smaller type is converted into wider type, because integer is smaller than float. So smaller will be converted into wider one, means float. So what will happen here? Integer will be converted into float. Like this, if you have character plus integer, so it will be converted into integer, because character takes 1 byte, integer takes 2 bytes. So smaller is converted into greater one. Now next, explicit conversion. In explicit conversion, this is also known as typecasting, that allows us to convert a data type of given type to another. Means we can convert a data type to another type. For example, see int a is equal to say int a, float b is equal to 6.23. If I write like this, a is equal to int b, so the answer will be 6. You can see here, I have declared a as integer, b as floating, and I have initialized the value. I have initialized the value of b, what? 6.23. 6.23 is a floating and a is an integer. Now when I have given a is equal to int of b, b is a floating, but before that I have written what? Int. So b will be converted into integer. So answer will be what? 6. It was 6.23, it will convert into integer, it will become 6. So this is how explicit conversion is done. Now reading and writing characters. Reading and writing character. How can you read a character in a C program? So some of the unformatted input-output functions are, as number one is get car. There are some functions are there, already inbuilt functions are there. One is starting with get car function. The function, this get car function reads a character enter from the keyboard into a designated variable. It reads the character and then gets it into a designated variable. Say for example, I have written what? X is equal to this. So it will read a character and then it will send the character into the variable X. Then we have get ch function and get che function. So sometimes they work similar, but they have some differences. These two functions are used to take one character as input. Another thing you remember, get means get, this function is basically used for input, getting the input. For getting the input is get, and for displaying the output is put. So this was get, these two are also get. So these two functions are used to take one character input from the keyboard. It takes only one character as input from the keyboard. The get ch function takes the input. It takes the input from the keyboard but does not show the character on the screen. Both of these takes a single character from the keyboard. Now it takes a single character as input from the keyboard but does not display the character on the screen, whereas the get ch function takes one single character as the input from the keyboard and it displays it on the screen. Here is the difference. It does not display, it displays. And it does not display, but if the user press any key, then it will display. Then we have another function. So these all are related with the input statement. Then we have another function, put car. put car. Now the put car is the output. It displays is the output. It associates the output. This put car function displays the character to given as argument in the screen. So suppose the put car will be like this. Suppose in earlier case I have written what A is equal to get car. So the values it takes from the keyboard. Now when I write put car A, so it will display the value taken by get car and taken it, so it will display that particular value. Then we have the formatted input and output statement. So basically there are some formatted input output statement. So formatted input statement is scanf and formatted output statement is printf. Now starting with scanf. Scanf is associated with taking the input from the user. The scanf function is used to accept the input data from the user through the keyboard. The general form of scanf is like this. Scanf, then here will be control string, control string, then ampersand variable 1 like this, variable 2 like this. So if I show, let me show you an example. See, control string is %d. %d means that I am coming, I will discuss integer, suppose %x. So x is a variable, I am giving a value input. So that particular input will go to the variable x. This is known as address operator, and this %d represents what, whether it should be integer, float or character. So %d means integer. Now in your book in page number 287, you will find in table number 15.6 a table is there that will see, you will see, say %d represents integer, C represents character, F and E represents floating, H represents short integer. Like this one chart is there, big chart. So just see it. Basically we use %c for integer, %f for floating and %c for character. Now the scanf function has the control. Now see, for example, I am just showing you another one. Suppose I am taking more than 2 control strings. So %d and %d and say x comma ampersand, this is means address. Now this is written with this with this. Suppose say I have given a %f, then what will happen? The value of y is floating and value of x is integer. So it is a good practice. If you do not give here space also, the compiler will work, but it is a good practice to give a space between the 2 control string. It is a good practice. The scanf function has 2 control strings. You can see in your book page number 288, one example is there, %c no space, %d, %f. So if you give space, it is good practice to have a space. The first character, so one example is there in your book, you can see this. Now how can you specify the width of a scanf? Say for example, if I give here 3d, 3d means what? This particular variable x will have highest 3-digit number. Suppose I have given here this one 2.1f. It means what? It means that this value y will be of 2-digit number and there will be 1 decimal point. So this is how we can specify the width of scanf. Now coming to printf, the printf function, is used to display the value stored in the variables of the screen. The general format of printf is like this: printf, then we have here control string variable 1 comma variable 2, like this. Only difference there, in case of scanf there was ampersand was there, means address of, and here it will just display. The printf statement is used to display the output on the screen. The printf function is used to display the value stored on the variable on the screen, and the control string in the printf can consist of a characters that are printed on the screen or format specification, or it can have escape sequence like /n, /t, all this. And lastly, how can you specify the field width? So how can you specify the field width? We can specify the field width by using some rules are there. Let me tell you. If the specified field width has less characters, you can see in page number 290. If the specified field width has less characters than the character in the data item, then it will be displayed ignoring the format. It will display without ignoring the format. When if the width is less than the character in data item, if the width is less than the character data item, it will just ignore. If the specific field has more characters than the character in data item, then blank space will be allocated. The blank can be given at the end of the data item by just placing minus. By just placing minus, we can give it the end of the data item. The leading blanks are replaced with zeros by placing a 0. In case of floating point number, we can specify the digits to be displayed after decimal point. So let me show you the example. You can see, you just see in the page number 291, table 15.9, printf 3d num1. Here num1 actually is a variable that we have declared earlier. So it is given what? 3d. D means what? Integer. 3d. So total digit will be, it will be a 3-digit number. Now for example, my value of num1, it is 7653. So it is a 4-digit number. So what it will do? It will just ignore. See, in my specifier it was what? Control string was 3d, and the input or the value of num1 is what? 4-digit number. So what will do? My first point says that if the specified data field has less characters, so what will do? It will just ignore. It will ignore the format. It will place all the 4-digit number. Now coming to next one, printf 6d num1. Suppose I have given value, suppose say 4, 5, 6, 1. Tutor he has told that we can take 6 digit. So what we will do? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 2 will be left blank. The 4-digit integer here is reduced to 6 column. You can see it will start from this part. Now say printf minus 6d. When you write minus 6d, what will happen? This 4, 5, 6, 1 will 4, 5, 6, 1. This 2 will be left empty because it is mentioned that the blank space can be given at the end of the data item by placing minus sign. Now if you have like this, zero 6d, suppose my value is 4, 5, 6, 1. So what will happen? Before that 0 will come. Why? Because leading zeros, mentioned that the leading blank space are replaced with zeros by placing a zero before the field with specifier. Then we have say like this, say it is 0.3f, 0.3f. So what will happen? It will 0.3f means what? After decimal point there are 3 digits. So it will be like this, point, suppose say 4, 5, 6, and before that we can take any number. Understand? Then 0.0. 0.0 means the real number is round out to 0 digits. Then we have suppose say this one 10.3f. So it means what? Total digit is 10, and after decimal point there are 3 digits. So but you can mention more specifier, but if you do not have that value, suppose I have given the input this one, so it will take only this, rest all will be left blank. And when you give minus, you give minus sign here, so this all will come here and this side will be left blank. So this was all about discussion on chapter 15. Now because this is basically practical based, so it will contain, chapter 15 will contain part 2, second part, in which I will be showing you the practical demonstration. I will be having a practical discussion on this chapter so that you can understand it. And if you have any problems regarding to today's chapter, so you can just call me in the time allotted, as you know, and hoping you all are fine. Till then, thank you.